consider doing all of us, it would be fun, family reunion in Las Vegas, nice and close, 3.5 hours away. February 25 to 29, Mandalay Bay. So
What's the date? February what?
February 25 to 29.
Well, like, we're not gonna hear about it every week.
Well, I know, but
Mandalay Bay.
I
Well, now she's got everybody knows.
hey, my calendar is filling up because, you know, who I am.
I'll have my people call your.
Oh, please do.
See if that fits on.
Jim, do you have any way to get rooms there?
I registered for make our family reunion, thought I would get a hotel link. I got.
Yeah, they did send, there was a link there somewhere.
Who owns Mandalay Bay?
I don't think it's a Caesars or an MGM because it didn't come up when I searched all those things. So that would be fun. Consider that. Any other tell me something good? Anybody?
What other big news was there at Mega Camp? Like anything?
Mark Willis is back and part of the everyday operations as an executive consultant. All 4 of the ALC proposals passed. So number 1, if you left Keller Williams and you compete with us, your profit share will go down to 5% on or before July. OPs got a raise if they choose to take it. No changes at Big Bear thus far, but could be when we start making ton of money. The profit level, 3 levels did change. That's the one thing that we voted no on, but the majority there was that it did.
What is that? What is it?
Before the vote, owners shared 50% of the profit after 12,000. Now we don't share 50% of the profit until after 30,000.
For the month, the year?
Month. So it goes 25, 35, 50. So there were steps, and those steps all went up. The math, I think the money that will go back into profit share by turning all these people off will way more than offset that. And then the last one was the transfers. That if you if an agent transfers.
It's not retro for people that left 2 years ago. Right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Anybody, you could have been making $200,000 in profit share and you left KW 6 years ago.
So somebody who left this office and went to Remax or left this office, went to EXP. Or now, the profit share was 5% of what?
5% of what 100% number was. For some reason,
To get 5%.
for some reason, they legally decided they couldn't go from 100% to 0. So they're gonna go to 5. But yeah, it wouldn't matter.
So are you calling all those people to see if they want to come back now?
Yes.
That's a good
Yes.
great tool.
Well, they have 6 months to return. And if they do, they keep everything, they're back to the 100%. If they don't come back in that 6-month window, which is gonna start here any day now, then it'll kick down to that 5%. Yeah, there's people that are making significant money on that. So those 4 things passed. I mean, Gary's market update, you'll see I pulled out like 4 of the 20 slides I wanted to share. There they are. Was awesome. Yeah, you'll hear more as we go. That was the big one that you'll see. All right. And we go back one. Are you going to show the video?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll wait for the video. Go ahead. Go ahead. There's a new slogan. Yeah. Everybody thinks they're pirates now.
When you were a kid and you still had a kid's imagination, did you ever make your own cape, get on top of your roof, put your fists on your hips? You'd look out to the horizon, and before you jumped, you'd take your deepest breath and shout, "I can sell this house!" Of course not. Even I didn't do that. And I have a real estate superhero for a father. Didn't dress up like a realtor for Halloween either. I wish I had now. But instead of being the cowboys or astronauts we dreamed of, we all grew up and became what we are. Now that's a good thing. It's also a shame, because way too many of you think of yourselves as just real estate agents. What if instead of millionaire real estate agent, Gary titled it, How to Be a Pirate? Did you really think all those books were about real estate? You were reading instead of feeling. They were about life, grand adventures of fortunes to be had, stories about chaos and opportunity, strength and vision, leadership and daring exploits. They were maps to sail the world, to explore and discover, clues to solve mysteries. They were autobiographies and memoirs of Gary and everyone he ever met. They were thrillers, comedies, epic tales, and legends of conquering heroes. Now those are things you make a cape for. Entrepreneurs can fly. We're 40 years old this year. We went and grew up, but we have to keep dreaming like children because children aren't afraid to fall. They aren't afraid to go to sea in a storm. Their imaginations are wild because they haven't learned to fail. They catch their breath in excited gulps and never stop moving. They cannonball into pools, and they pretend to be pirates, just like entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs don't love chaos. They love seeing an answer in the chaos. We build businesses worth owning and lives worth living. While others simply play real estate, we bend the rules to the direction we want the wind to blow. We command the horizon. We lead an industry by going our own way. We train the best to be better and to come on board, and we leave competitors in our wake. We sell, we buy, we change lives. Tears of joy, shouts of victory. The dreams we had melt with the dreams of our clients. New keys, new doors, new lives, new memories. And every one of us will be a part of the stories they tell. The life we've chosen is a celebration of the journey, from treasure to treasure. It's an attitude you either have or you learn from reading a book you thought was about real estate. At Keller Williams, as a leader, as a team builder, as a leaver of legacy, you will be so much more than a real estate agent. There's an entrepreneur inside every one of you, an incredibly wealthy entrepreneur. Because as Gary tells us, relationships are the currency of wealth, and you're part of a culture like no other, with a network like no other. In Mark Twain's book, Life on the Mississippi, he remembers his childhood when he says, "Now and then we had the hope that if we lived and were good, God would permit us to be pirates." Who ever heard of a pirate asking permission? Hoist the skull and mustache.
Relationships, the culture, the collaboration. So see you in Vegas in February. And see you next Wednesday when we kick off our MREA playbook mastermind series. I think we have a slide on that.
Yeah.
All right, Jaylee, what we got?
We got the Bureau Mega Camp slides are in here. So the market update. for
Yeah, so
2020.
Gary always does his market update, and we'll give you the full slides. There's probably a way you can watch the whole thing if you haven't seen it yet. But I wanted to pull these out real quick. There's probably 4 main points that I thought were just kind of like mind blowing. One is, we're on track this year to do 4.3 million in sales. That's volume, and you'll see later kind of why volume matters. But it's not that far off. I mean, that 5.6 and 6.1 is what we're all kind of feeling and remembering.
That's not Keller Williams, that's everybody.
This is AAR. Yeah.
Nationwide.
That's it.
You say 4.3 billion?
Million homes.
Oh, homes.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is units.
Units.
This is
Yeah.
units. Yeah, 4.3 million. There's another one on volume. So we're just not that. Pardon? Switch. Click. Hey,
So
Jim.
question, is that single sides or both sides? When it says 4.3 million, is that 8.6 million sides? Or
I don't know. But whatever it was at 6, it's now 4.3. So the ratio,
so just a change?
difference.
I think it's just
It's just one property. Yeah.
It's just-
Is there a way to get, he does this every year.
Yeah.
So can we go back, let's say 3-4 years and look at what they had anticipated and what they guessed and where we actually lost?
Yeah, but even on these, you're not seeing 24 and 25.
No, but I'm saying like these they do, and they, a lot of times they'll do, they do the ones that are figuring out what's going to be next. So where are we going to go? Let's say 24, 25.
Yeah.
Do they have those?
I'm not aware of these types of slides that have future years.
I know they have projections.
Right, there's a guy named Ruben that does a lot of that. I think it's mostly like historical, that trend line. So if you go back one slide.
It might go back to previous. So there you go. Like that, you can see that line is the projected sales. I'm sorry, no, go to the next one. You'll see the trend line. So annual home prices, right? So 06, we were way above the trend line. That trend line is long-term 4%. Right? So our house is too expensive right now, yeah. But by a ton, no. By a little bit, right? Because that 4% trend is what it kind of is.
So all the data that I've ever been able to find, markets are local, right? So they always use that 4% trend for nationwide. But from the California data that I've been able to find, California tends to grow at 5%. As far as I can tell from data that I've been able to get on.
So if nationwide we're 7% above trend, your point would be that California is less than 7 above trend.
Well, I don't know, because you need to see California in order to know if California's above or below trend. You know what I'm saying? California's going to have totally different numbers. But
Well,
the California
California's
trend
in
line,
there.
I know, right? But you've got the home sales from all the other states and the trend line from all the other states. California is different. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So since real estate markets are local, I think it'd be way more interesting to see California version.
Well, exactly. And then a Inland Empire version and then a mountain version, because that's what really matters. Because if the market up here explodes and it stalls down the hill, we're kind of okay with that. Right. So yeah, the more focused we can get. Go to the next one.
Please. So mortgage rates, you guys know this, but look at the historical average. If you go back to 72 to 21, you're looking at 7.8. Well, not many people remember back to 72, right? I was 4 at that point. So the more recent one is the 90 to the 21, and that's just below 6 average. And right now, according to this, we're at 6.6. And of course, that changes every week. But it's just that gap that everyone's, so used to below that 5.97. But if we understand 5.9 is like a running 30-year average, it's kind of where we're hanging out right now. Right? That doesn't mean that somebody with, sitting on a house at the 3.25 is going to be excited to move because you show them the slide. But next. They made a big point about this. So this is the people that aren't excited to sell because they're sitting on a great mortgage, right? And you can kind of see the spread there. What this doesn't talk about is how much equity is in a home, right? And the conversation about the equity in the property could be more of a driver than interest rates. So next. So market volume per agent. And the agent count is kind of dipped. It'll continue to go down, I think, but because prices have gone up, there's still volume, which is what you get paid on with your commission percent out there that's going to transact. It's not going to be as low as you think. I mean, look, we're volume wise of what we're going to close, which would be total commission paid, is still going to beat 2020. And that's kind of surprising. So what I hear from this is, like, keep going, because your pay, you might not have as many paychecks, but they're bigger now. Okay, so let's get back to the equity thing. 2 more, I think, on the equity thing. So 39%, and again, this is nationwide. do not have a mortgage. Right? So they can sell and buy, they can 1031, interest rates don't matter. Right? Now, I haven't done this, but it would be interesting to do is, okay, let's translate that into the second home market. Right? And what percentage of Big Bear homeowners have a mortgage or don't? So the mortgage equation, it doesn't matter for them. So 61% have mortgages. Now go to the next one, the last one. Of that 61%, 31%, almost half of the people with mortgages are sitting on 50+% equity. Right? And then it's probably a second or third home up here. Right? So there could be a lot of activity regardless of what happens with interest rates, because that's your farm, that's your transactable kind of people. All right. So the people who don't have mortgages plus the people who have 50% or plus, that's 7 out of 10 people. So you're really talking about a third of the people that are married to their interest rates, 70% off. I thought that was a telling thing. Comments, ahas, ways to find those people. All right, what do we got? Oh, see, there's her plug. Vicky already reminding you.
Well, if you're gonna go, it's the cheapest time to buy your ticket. So you know, $7.99. Yeah, and I'll send you these. So you can just October.
So
October 31st is the deadline. It's technically 11:59, not midnight. So don't buy
Oh my
it.
God.
Don't buy it
Wait
midnight.
till that last minute, that's your fault.
Yeah, right.
If you're in MAPS coaching, you get to go for free.
Oh, there you go.
So you can join MAPS coaching.
Gary made a really good point at a little breakout I was in. He said, raise your hand if you can explain to the room why you shouldn't have a coach. And no one raised their hand. Nobody should. Right, that's his point. He's like, instead of me telling you to get a coach, why don't you tell me why you don't need a coach? He goes, so all of you know you need to, some of you just don't. But it's not a debate of whether you should have a coach or not. I mean, okay.
So I forgot to get the numbers to Melanie before she left on vacation, but I put these out on the table for you guys last week. Brianna and Jamie signed up, so thank you. But I'm just gonna continue to put them out every week.
Even if it's 5, you guys, even if it's 5
I'm
for
not
closing, we
reprinting
don't
them
care.
until these are all gone. So if they do it, so you'll quit seeing them.
Well, I mean, think about it. You guys saw what happened in Maui. And there were multiple Keller Williams associates that died with their families in that fire. And that was just devastating. We're gonna get nailed this weekend, Sunday and Monday, right?
Tropical storm.
I'm not trying to create any bad mojo in the universe, but I mean, that's a lot of water and mud. So who knows who's gonna need what when? And there's millions of dollars of aid at KW if and when we need it. Hopefully we never do.
I mean,
But
regardless,
it's-
we live in an area that's.
Just ask your insurance company.
Yeah.
Right?
We're in a high fire.
Threat of fire is something we live with.
Well, there's also a chance that all the roads could get closed from mudslides and stuff. So just make sure you got your stocked up for this weekend if you're staying up here.
Yeah. So we've collected just shy of 9,000 in our Big Bear Cares account. Every October 1st, we take 3,000 and send it to National to say, here's our annual contribution. If Big Bear ever calls on you, just mark us down as someone who contributes every year. So that'll knock us down to like 5,000 or 6,000. So this is just kind of how we build up our own personal account, because if someone needs 1,500 like tomorrow, we can do it. And we have. Please consider.
Is there a line on here to just do a one-time donation, or is this just for?
That's the
Per
reoccurring, but you
transaction.
could just write one time. You could write all of my commission next closing. Okay, so we've been doing two things real quick, and I'm gonna talk about ALC for 30 seconds too, even though it's not in the slideshow. We have been doing Wednesday masterminds, and we're gonna kind of re-engage with those next Wednesday. It's gonna center around a lot of mega camp stuff. It's gonna center around the MREA playbook, which I have 2 of them in my backpack, so I'll make copies out of that. Jason Abrams went through the MREA and like made like visuals of each model and point in the MREA. And so we're gonna go through that over the next like 7 Wednesdays. So next Wednesday, we're gonna intro that, but I'm also gonna interview Steve Hirschler as kind of part of that. So it's gonna be a combo like Steve and I. So please engage, lean in. It would be fun to have this big of a room. Every Wednesday, Steve.
The 23rd.
23rd.
You agreed to it.
And then every Wednesday, except there's one in September. You'll see the dates on. But there's one in September. I'll be at our meeting in Austin.
The last time I saw Jason Abrams speak, he talked about some Keller Williams resource, and I never followed up with it, but where they had explored every single like CRM, every single like, you know,
What is follow
check
up?
the-
What is
yeah, like and compared them all and contrasted and told you exactly the best practices for using each one. Where is that information found?
So there's 2 things. One is called the KW code book, which is how to do an open house, how to do farming, how to send postcards. And it's got everything that Command can do to help you with that. When they were and that's a QR code that we can find and send out. So you can have the full code book. When they presented that, Jason was holding up, if you went to the Seal Beach thing, and going through and saying, this is what Boomtown does and doesn't do. This is what Follow Up Boss does and doesn't do. I don't think that is inside that big code book, but there is a.
It seemed really cool. It was like the best practices for everyone. It was like all Keller Williams agents that used this, like the top ones, figured it out and wrote down what they do with it. So it seemed like a really cool resource, but I never looked into it.
Yeah, so that's the code book thing, and there's one, I have it in my slideshow that I just taught them down last week. I'll give you that QR code, and go here and you'll download like a 200-page, whatever you want to do. Like, how do I get business from holding client events?
Email marketing, social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is you want to do, the best of the best that Keller Williams wrote it down. Like, do these steps in this order. You just got to find.
So next Wednesday, 9 a.m. We'll kick it off.
Need some more?
Should we go this way?
Yeah.
You're up, Miss Melissa.
I'm going to Mexico, so if the hurricane is 400 miles off the coast, but I'm going today. So I leave tomorrow morning. We're going to Colorado, but it is like, it's gonna be passing the land. So hopefully-
Yeah.
I have been to Colorado when there was a hurricane and it was really scary. So I'm just like.
Can't you get an early flight?
We're leaving as our.
Where do you fly out of? Oh, yeah.
Santa Ana.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be back in a week. Then I have a listing coming live in Sugarloaf. It's super cute. It's up in the trees. It's towards the National Forest. They just painted the interior and exterior like white. It's going to be listed at $379. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 7,000 square foot lot. Really cute. All updated, remodeled kitchen, bathrooms. $379. And it's up towards the top. I can't remember the address. 729 or 724. Okay. It'll go live on September 2nd. Santa Barbara.
Ooh, I like that street. We might have it sold by the time you land.
Okay. I have the listing agreement out for signatures right now, so I told them that we'll probably mark it as a coming soon when I get back. And we'll have a week of coming soon. Oh, I have a house today on tour. The one on Aeroplane. All the furnishings, it says negotiable, but with a full price offer, same thing.
So I have a question for you. How do you market coming soon with our MLS? rules?
Just like do it to ourselves.
Tell the office about it. Hey, we
That's
got
the
this.
only thing you can do, though. You can't put a sign up,
No, coming soon means the people that are in your brokerage.
but there's a
can know
There's a
about it.
situation with that. I don't want to change the whole conversation here, but SoCal MLS, CRMLS allows coming soon. You
Right.
can market coming soon. And there's people doing that.
So the difference between Big Bear MLS and the SoCal MLS is they're exactly the opposite. And in the CRMLS, you can market it, but you can't show it. And in Big Bear, you can show it, but you can't market it. So you can't legally do a coming soon in both MLSs at the same time. So, but you can market to your database. Those are people that you have contact with. You could send it individually to people. You could tell people about agents about it. You can market it, you just can't post anything online. You can't post anywhere that the public could see it or people that are not part of your.
What if you want to hold?
No.
There's a no marketing tab. in Big Bear.
That's what I'm talking
what you're
about.
going.
No marketing is what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
For Big Bear. So the no marketing means you cannot market it at all. So like,
You have coming soon, you have one day to put it in MLS. You can do it one day.
You guys are talking Big Bear.
you have 24 hours to market it prior to it going live. But if you fail to hit that deadline of it going live, it's a big violation. So be very careful if you're going to market it.
My question, if I had the listing agreement today and he wanted to show it and I had bought boxes, am I even allowed to do that?
Totally.
Yes.
Tell
me.
We can send it
You
to
just
our.
can't put a sign-
We can
you
send it
can't
to
put a
our
sign
entire
on it.
database.
You cannot put a sign on it and you cannot do any social media, any advertising. But yes, it's something
No,
else.
nothing the public can see, nothing any public person could find that you don't have a relationship with.
So how's that
Individually
beneficial to
tell.
yourself?
By letting the agent
Excellent
know.
question.
that's fine.
Well, I'll tell you how it is. You tell them, hey, look, we've agreed upon this price and, the seller's not gonna, anybody you talk to about it, the seller's not gonna take anything less than a full price offer right now.
So
So,
what if they come on the market and get multiple offers and go above?
well,
Your seller would-
what if they don't ever come on?
Your seller
Because
would
you
have to
sell-
say, I don't want the hassle of the showings and the open houses if I get full price without all that.
So what we do is we say to our sellers, are you open? Like, is this a price that you'd be happy to accept? That we've come up with together. And if they say yes, do you want us to market it in advance, like to tell everybody in our database about it, and the agents in our office? And, if you want someone to write a full price
So what
offer,
you're doing
would
is
you
finding
do
a way to do a coming soon, even though the MLS says you can't do a coming soon.
Well, the MLS has
So
very
why don't we
specific
change the
rules about.
MLS where it does what we need it to do, which is make it coming soon?
MLS has very specific rules about what a
I
coming
know, but
soon
you're
is.
on the committee and I'm saying that there's a problem because
The MLS committee meetings at CAR and NAR are absolutely the worst to go through because there are so many integral things and why these people are doing this way and why are we doing it this way. This is the best way for us up here. This is what the MLS has decided. It's the best way for our area.
well, unless I decide I just want to do coming soon, so I won't be a member anymore, and I'll just do it through CRMLS.
Or Steve, why don't you join the MLS committee and then you can figure it out.
You can do it through CRMLS. Yeah, you should join the committee.
Well, no,
because
I'm
we
just
have
trying to
all-
understand why we think it's good to do it one way, on one side.
Well, I can tell you the
Because it's
benefit. I can tell you why people.
I think it's all about being agent driven and not being consumer
Well,
driven,
let me-
which is
let
the
me
seller and the
reframe.
buyer.
Yeah, let me reframe the conversation, because you guys are all right, but you're coming at it this way. So the not putting it on anywhere the public can see it, which is the Big Bear Board's perspective, protects the local agent. And it's good for us because we have a better chance of selling it. It's got nothing to do with helping the seller.
I disagree.
Then tell me.
I
Go
just
ahead.
did, but you probably didn't understand. Like, if you have a conversation with a seller at the listing appointment and you come up with a price that they're happy with, and maybe it's higher than market value.
Right.
And you say, hey, you know, often people are willing to come up to a higher price if they feel like they have a special opportunity, a unique opportunity that nobody else has, right? So, I mean, we know that how that works. You know, if somebody has an opportunity to buy something that nobody else, they think nobody else has that opportunity to buy it, they're often willing to come to a higher price. So let's just say that we've set a price above market value with our seller. We say, look, you know, I think this is market value. We're pricing it here. If we can get you this price before it hits the market, are you going to be happy with that? And they say yes. And then we send it out to our entire database at this price. And if anybody talks about it and says, hey, I want to come see it, just say, look, the seller is not going to accept anything less than a full price offer because they want to make sure they want to test the market. So don't even bother unless you're willing to buy a full price offer. So
Is
now,
that
so
how
you're
you
getting,
see it? Or anything different?
Yeah, but it's not just for the agent, it's not for just us, you know, it is for, you know, to get the house ready, to get it all, you know, and there's a lot of times that you get a listing and they have to clean it and paint it and do all this other stuff. So instead of sitting there and saying, well, I'm not going to get the listing because you have to do all this stuff, let's do the listing and then go ahead and it's all done. That's another way of doing it, you know, and that is a conversation, you still can show it during that time. You just can't.
Yeah.
You have to understand that it is going to be a mess when you go look at it.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I was gonna say that's just exact.
Correct.
So I decided today, but it's still the reason why I have one conversation.
Do you have it as the owner? Okay, then you're great. And that's the perfect thing. You can still tell people in our office or any agents that you want to and say, yes, it's going to be fixed if you want to go look at it, but it's going to have problems until, but this is the price is going to be when it comes on.
And
Because we're doing
this
it.
is what he's doing in the meantime. And then I went with what Will did too. I said, if one of our agents in our office, you know, wants to show it, are you okay with that? Like, I'll give you a heads up, even though it's going to be vacant lockbox once we're live, I'll definitely let you know because he's there working. And then, if we get a full price offer, are you going to be okay? Or would you want to hit the market? He's happy with the full price offer. So that's exactly how that
That's
conversation,
the way that.
setting expectations and kind of.
I fully understand how you can talk salary too. That's not an
But I see
argument
where
at
you're
all
coming
with me.
from.
well, there's different psychologies about how to get the highest price. Like, I believe that if you do it right, that you can actually get a higher price using that technique than it hitting the market. Because of the scarcity aspect of somebody, like if I say, hey, I've got this gold watch, it's a one of a kind, you know, Rolex, and, you know, I'm going to put it on eBay and I'll probably get, you know, X amount for it, or I'll sell it to you right now for this amount, you know, because you're offered an opportunity that you feel like is an exclusive opportunity. Often that person, the psychology is, oh my God, like nobody else knows about this yet. And therefore, you know, it's a good deal. I mean, once something sits on the market for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we know how the price declines, right? It's like that's any potential buyer is like, well, if it was any good, someone would have bought it already. So it's almost the reverse of that. Well, it hasn't even hit the market yet. So
You guys are
I see
saying
this and I
some
really
of
want
the same stuff.
well, there's different strategies.
Yeah, but it all
It's,
depends on why you're coming soon. What's the point? And
The reason for it.
it's usually because you're waiting for the photographer or the house isn't quite ready to be photographed. Because that's what I look at and I talk to my sellers until let's list the property, get it on the market, and I mean, let's get it the paperwork out of the way. Now let's get the place photogenic, basically, because once it's then you launch it and now you get the biggest impact that you'll get in the entire
But
first
you're
week.
kind of saving up because you've got the paperwork signed.
Right.
Now you are the
So that's
agent.
why you just have to sue,
Instead of
but
they talking to somebody else in the meantime, right?
I mean, every listing I take is a coming soon, but it's only to buy a little time, get the listing and now get
But
the.
no, not if you have a cell.
Yeah.
And You don't have to list it as a no marketing listing. You can do that. You can take a listing, have a sell and say, you're finishing painting the decks, you're gonna get the windows cleaned, blah, 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 the yard cleaned up. My point is that we don't do that. We do all of that. You have a settlement in place. You don't market the property because in my opinion, I don't want to invite anybody to your property to look at it until it's in the best shape it's going to be before we come on the market, because I only get one chance at a good first impression.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to get the listing signed. We're going to get all your work done, and we're going to hit the market, and we're going to show everybody what a great product we have and see how much money we can get for your house. Not, I'm going to bring somebody in the back door and give you what you said you'd take, and hope you take it then, because I don't want to have to try to get more on the market. So it's a different opinion here, but anytime I get these emails and calls from all these people off the hill, hey, you got any off the market listings? I'm like, no, I don't, because I wouldn't advise my seller to sell a house without trying to see what he can get in the market. That's not the right thing to do for my seller. I don't want you to come in and undercut him and just make
But
him.
what's your answer to that question when it comes from a 5-time client of yours? Casey, anything coming up I can see before it's market?
I will tell them about the few that we've had on the tour here, or whoever's got a no marketing listing out there. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's the best thing for my seller to try to sell his house before it's ready and keep it down to 1 or 2 buyers instead of the whole marketplace.
Yeah. Colin, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, it depends on your buyer, how savvy they are too. On if they're gonna take it. Like a lot of those finance guys, real estate guys, they're like, let it hit the market, we'll see what it does. I'll come in with an offer if I think it's fair, but a lot of those guys won't jump at that offer. And that was on the back.
I just think there's a problem that we use 2 MLSs and they don't have the same rules.
That is a problem by nature.
And we've got some agents from off the hill that are members of the Big Bear MLS that are putting stuff out there coming soon. But we can't do that.
They're not allowed to show theoretically, like they're not allowed to put a lockbox on, they're not allowed to show it prior to it going active.
Yeah, but it hits on Zillow and Redfin and everywhere else coming soon. And then your seller says, how come I can't say coming soon? on the
Yeah, or we
MLS?
get a call saying, hey, but what about this? Well, we can't show it yet. What's the point?
It's
Your
the buyer.
MLS can, so you can like.
So I can be really frustrated.
You can share your perspective and change things.
No, I just think it's crazy that we have 2 sets of rules.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think it's crazy that we're all paying membership to 2 MLSs. And I think it's crazy that we're data inputting for 2 MLSs. And I think in the long run, our MLS is going to get ran over because they're not cooperating and they're not data sharing. And when I mean ran over, I mean, it's already happening. If you look at the MLS right now from CRMLS today, we have 473 active listings. You look at the Big Bear one, it says 355. So where's the data? Where's the best data point?
And have you ever tried to do an open house that it pops up on Zillow, Big Bear MLS? It doesn't. You have to do it through the CRMLS. Do you want your open house to show up on Zillow as an open house? You have to do it through CRMLS. Big Bear's MLS will not communicate as an open house on Zillow.
Because Zillow is a broker and now they have to find.
They're not a member of Big Bear.
They're
That's
not.
why they don't.
So they have to count, they always got it for free. They did get it for
They're
free.
being forced to join.
Now they're being forced to join.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so, but I mean, everybody who's out there who's looking for open houses that are wandering around.
Well, we should be able to fix that. I wasn't. Send an email to the MLS committee.
Yeah, it's a big,
Figure out how to fix
yeah,
that.
so if you put an open house in Big Bear MLS, and you put it as an open house in the CRMLS, you know what, it doesn't show up anyway. Because one clears out the other one. You have to get rid of the open house on Big Bear MLS, so you can show an open house through Zillow and everything else through the CRMLS. So we've had it several times where it's like, why isn't my open house showing up? This agent from down the hills agent, the house is showing up, it's right down the street, but not mine on Zillow. What the
Yeah,
hell?
if you figure out anything like that, send it to the, the
I've
board or
already
the
talked
MLS
to the
committee.
board about it, or I've talked to Laura, and she's like, well, the problem is we don't work with Zillow that way.
No, We can solve that. It has to do with how List Hub or whoever our syndicate is feeding data to Philip. So we can fix it.
And
We just need to-
what's the advantage? I noticed that there's been several houses that are popping up under no marketing. You can clearly show that, you can clearly see that they've got a photograph, they've got the whole bit. What's the advantageous point of having no marketing?
No marketing is Big Bear's version of a coming soon.
Okay.
You can show it, but nobody can market or advertise on it.
Yeah, word of mouth. your data.
It's word of mouth and database. It's like Mike said, like maybe the house isn't, 100%. And here's the reason why you don't want to miss out on all those buyers. Let's say Melissa's got a buyer out this weekend. Your listing's not going to go live till next weekend, and you want it to be perfect. But she's got a live buyer that might want that house this weekend. And even would you rather have her live buyer buy something this weekend, miss out on your house, or would you rather have them be able to go see your house, which isn't perfect and quite ready yet, but maybe that's the perfect house for them? So like, I agree that before anything hits the market and goes out publicly to the consumer, it should be perfect. You should have, perfect staging, perfect photos, all that. You should never put anything live until it's perfect. But I also don't think you want to miss out on people that are buying houses the weekend before. If you could tell, like everybody in your office, hey, I got this great listing. The listing is signed, but it's not going to go active until this date. Why not have those people that are going to not ever see it because they're going to buy something before?
Dan needs to be final comment. This conversation is not over, but it is for today.
Real quick, so do you think, like I see it's Compass Remax, Steve, you did it like last week, there was a no marketing for one of your listings, I believe. Maybe it was I was thinking to somebody else, but anyway, do you think it's that these agencies are using it as a tool to generate their leads for their market center, stating that, like let's say Remax gets a listing, it's all ready to go, it's in the MLS, everything's in there, but it's under no marketing. Do you think they're taking this information regarding that listing, telling everybody through their Remax franchise, saying, okay, share this within the database before this thing goes live to help generate leads for our market center first?
They might,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
something that they don't do.
So, I mean, maybe that
That's
might be a
something
good.
that everybody's doing as an individual team, regardless of the brokerage. If they're doing that.
Yeah, if they're doing their work, but there's a lot of people out there that are not paying attention to it either. So, sharing the listing, but
It's nobody's fault in the room.
No, I'm just
We got two systems and it stinks because we can't go with one plan and do it for both MLSs, but we're all members of both MLSs. Because we gotta be members of both MLSs, but we can't share.
I was just thinking what we can do to make this beneficial for us for the.
Well, so here's what we can do. So there's two sets of rules for the real estate game, depending on which MLS you're putting it in, right? What you want to do is you want to know the rules really clearly, how they work, and then you want to know how to use those rules to play the game at the highest possible level. If you don't like the rules, you can get on a committee, try to change the rules, or you could just optimize your strategy for the rules. So if you're a buyer's agent in Big Bear, the whole reason that we started doing coming soons back when they were allowed, before they disallowed them, I think I'm the one that started it. I'm like, hey, I started putting coming soon writers on because I'm like, why not? This is a great way to get buyers. And then I would tell everyone in our office, hey, I've got this coming soon. So I would advertise those to the entire office. And that allowed any buyer's agent at Keller Williams to say, my unique value proposition, why should you work with me when they call Elaine, is, well, I know about, I belong to this franchise that has more listings than any other franchise in Big Bear. And I know about them often.
And that's the whole reason why the board changed that rule.
Yeah.
Because we have
Because
clear
that was unfair
cooperation
advantage.
for
That
the
was-
whole state.
So clear cooperation means that it has to, you can't market it on any public site to the public until it goes active. That's what clear cooperation basically says, right?
Do you guys know why Haley and Jamie just left? They had buyer calls on Santa Barbara. Yeah. Okay. Wait, last word, double last
It's
word,
a
go.
whole other subject that's gonna piss everybody off, especially Steve.
You're
We
bringing
want
up
to
a
get
whole
into the
new
weeds
topic.
on it because this is something that we really need to figure out.
Okay, but we're going on tour in 12 minutes, cool?
45 minutes, 45 minutes before an escrow closed on Fairway and 80 acres, we get a notice from the seller that has a citation from the fire department. 45 minutes before it closed, and he sends it to us. And we couldn't stop the closing. We were panicking. Okay, now what do we do? We're gonna be in trouble for non-disclosure about something that was disclosed to the seller, but 45 minutes before. So now it's opened up a whole can of worms. Jeff Willis, I got on the phone with him right away. And the next day he figured it, I said, this is exactly the quagmire that I told you was gonna happen. Going around, picking off all the escrows, that they're finding out all the properties that are in escrow, and they're sending out citations.
But for 20 minutes, he argued with me that it's not a point of sale, which is bullshit.
Right, that's what I told him to. And so anyway, I talked to him for an hour 3 weeks ago about it, and then another hour 2 days ago. Well, we got the thing through. We were able to push it on to the buyer. It's a down the hill agent that didn't understand what was going on. Why didn't you disclose this? And we kind of did in our other forms that we use, but now this is a whole new one with the $80 charge. Now, do we do this at the time we take listings? We have the seller pay $80 to get the backyard, the front, everything inspected. I mean, that's the whole point on this new SB 38. And I'm telling you, it's going to be just like it was back when we implemented the smoke, carbon, and water heater bracing. It was a nightmare. So here's what it is. We need to figure out who's going to pay for this thing and when. By just pushing it off to the buyer, it's going to backfire because these notices are being sent while we're in escrow. So it's going to cause the seller to have to. I mean, if the buyer makes it a point of, if the buyer wants to make it as like a part of a termite report. Okay, now we have to have this new report. So we push it on to the buyer to get it, but the buyer can't order and pay for the $80 inspection fee because it has to be the owner giving permission for the fire department to go in the backyard. I mean, I'm telling you guys, and now we get like in this case, it was low-lying junipers out on the curb, and this bush that is flammable, some bush I don't even think I've ever heard of. Anyway, that has to be trimmed back. Now, it might cost $2,000 or $3,000 for this to happen. Who's supposed to pay for it now? It's at the point of sale. Buyer's going to expect the seller to pay it, just like the old days on
And they
the
can just come out of nowhere after 45 minutes and insert this. If there was like they have to tell us in the first 10 days of the escrow, you guys have to deal with it.
Well, we got to figure something out pretty quick because every escrow that's closing everybody that's in escrow right now, their sellers are going to get a notice. Get your $80 and make sure we get in.
Yeah, but if they're compliant, they don't.
But they don't know they're compliant
Yeah,
until they.
So when we list a property, we should be having them.
That's
$80.
that's the discussion we have to have. We have to have our legal.
They've made it our job to do their job.
Yep.
And they admit that they haven't had time to do their job for over a decade.
Right.
And these defensible space laws have been in place for over a decade. We didn't have time to do it, but now we have time if you're in escrow. And you can pay us $80,
That's right.
then we're gonna come out and look. But that's not called point of sale, which is baloney. It is point of
You
sale.
can't have a disclosure that's not a point of sale item. It's a disclosure, mandatory disclosure item, so it's going to affect the sale.
I remember reminding Willis about all this when the smoke and carbon water heater precinct all came down with that, because that was kind of the same thing, but this new SB 38 has got to be the owner. So yeah, we can disclose to the buyer that, hey, you're going to have to pay $80 after you own this place. In the meantime, we have to disclose when the citation comes in. The citation was for $0. They just kind of they call it a citation, get your attention. And of course, my seller said, Jeff Willis isn't an attorney. I'll see you guys in court. My seller's big anyway, but anyway, so that we're lucky that we have a buyer that is kind of, and a buyer's agent that understands what's going on, and he explained it in his email. So I'm gonna share that email with everybody so that you can see what is good, the process of what's gonna happen, but this is exactly the quagmire that I warned him about, and then it happened, and I'm telling you, this is gonna be an issue for a while.
You
They're
know,
gonna do this on every escrow. They're gonna send out a notice.
Yeah.
when you put in a request for the inspection, do we know how long it's taking them to show up?
2 days,
2 days,
within 2 days.
within 2 days.
But then you have to go out and get bids on what needs to be done.
Well, maybe to cover our butts, because I think what's gonna happen is this is gonna create a lot of shit. And we're gonna start seeing, class action suits. They're gonna get enough people together probably that have bought houses that are dealing with this, that could create a class action suit.
And guess who'll be in the middle?
Exactly. And maybe what
That's
we
why
should
our
do is
brokerage
make this an
fees-
in-house thing with Keller Williams and cover all our asses. Just say, look, you're taking a listing. This is one of the things that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to supply a
Disclosure.
inspection.
And
Inspection.
which is a disclosure.
Which is disclosure. And your seller should have an
So start
inspection
it
done.
right away.
For $80 to cover your butt, that's a big deal.
Then the other problem is then we take cash.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the $80. So when
And you
your
have to be
seller's
the
not here,
property.
how do you pay for it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the buyer, the seller or the seller's agent could pay for it.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, we can pay for it. Perfect.
That's what I mean. That's the way to get the listing. Hey, I'll pay for it. If you go with me, I'll pay.
I'll give you $80 and have you. I'm not trimming it all back.
Don't say that. We had one
And
that
I'll
was
reupholster
70,
your couch.
we had $7,800 to take down that tree.
Well, that's exactly the dilemma. And there's another dilemma is Remax is making it part of the real estate agent's duty to clean up your yard. I mean, they're going out with every listing now and saying, we clean up your yard for free. That's what they do. They have people on their Simeons sending people out to clean up every front yard of every property that comes on the market.
That doesn't mean it's gonna be compliant when it gets
No.
inspected.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is, I was sitting at the broker open with Dana the other day and she starts telling me this. And I'm like, oh, so you think it's our responsibilities as real estate agents to clean everybody's yard if we're gonna hit the market? Which is
Well, that's the way
basically what
it
she
should
said.
be. I mean, it's a marketing tool basically now for us, but don't forget, they've taken over the weed abatement. There is no weed abatement anymore. Notices sent out. Fire department's taken all that over. And so they have that hat too, but that's only for the front yard. They don't have access to the back. So that's what the SB 38 is to get you in the backyard. And only the property owner or the property owner's agent can pay for that to get it done.
Yeah, they're not sending out lead notices, they're just sending out fines without warning you first.
Right, because you should know better after all these years. You should know
No,
better.
they sent,
When
because
you guys go up Elm, we're gonna go up Elm today, look on both sides of the street. There's grass on some of these properties, they're this high.
they send out a notice and they give you 30 days to take care of it. If you don't, because I just got one for Juniper's in front of my fence. And by the way, Rhonda, Gordon and I live behind each other. We both got hit for Junipers. And I have a guy that he took out like 7 big Junipers for like $400 for me. Rhonda, same thing, and he does a great job. So if you guys do and showed up,
Yeah.
that was the
Right.
order part. So I do have a number of someone if.
But that's what I
if
mean,
you
these
need
guys
it.
are gonna get,
Okay,
this is
yeah,
gonna take a
Well,
couple
yeah,
weeks to get to an estimate. You're gonna be sitting in escrow waiting for all this to happen.
So we'll just
That's where
bite
it's
the
going.
bullet and do it right.
Know what's coming and check it off.
Get it done.
Okay, tour. Let's, unless there's wants and needs that are not on tour.
One more thing, I've just got a new listing that's coming on, it'll be on tour next Friday. It'll be on the market before that. 41170 Pennsylvania. It's 37,000 square foot lot. The house is 2,500 square feet. It's been completely remodeled. Jay Nelson did the build on it, finished it up in 2019, I believe it was. It's a gorgeous house. It's going on the market, I think at 1.195. And it's 4 bedroom, 2 bath. Beautiful, vaulted ceilings, beams, Very cute, 41170, Pennsylvania.
If I could just-
I just want to give a big shout out to Miss Elaine here with 3 houses on tour today.
Yeah.
She's back.
The Bucket Dough is on Run of the World. If the address, it's right across from the fire station. You gotta check it out. Don't judge the book by the cover because it looks awful on the outside. Just go inside and you'll be pleasantly surprised.
It's like a time capsule.
It's got an apartment in the back. It's got a guest house in the garage. It's got a full bar and restaurant seating. It's check it out. You'll love it. And then Dr. Diora's old place over across from the bowling barn, 4 units. That's on the market for $599. It's brings in about 40,000 in net income. I mean, in gross income. So that one is a right there. Anybody's looking for 4 units in a commercial setting. Okay.
The only thing I have to say is on the one that we're gonna go to on Birch, it's on the corner of La Placida and Birch. It has, the APN is La Placida, but they've been there over 40 years and it's always been Birch. It's right on the corner, so it's right there. And it's an elderly couple, very sweet. They've been up here like forever, so they'll be there, so you know, but you can't help it, you know. There's-
Anything else we need to know for tour? Just the order. And the order of tour, please.
314-2756.
314-7256.
No, 314-2756.
I missed it.
All right, everybody.
Wait.
Oh, what are we giving away? We have more.
I still have to spend like $25. I need another one.
The last 3 numbers are 920. 920.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys. What was that, 25?
Yeah. I just bought the same Amazon again. Yeah. They seem to like them. No, I do. That's what I said. I'm not.
They're all filled out.
Yeah, if we get one a week, that'd be good. So Darlene, what if we have Destiny make a coming soon template? And then we just educate our agents, if you have a coming soon, email Destiny. And just like you do the tour sheet once a week, maybe Destiny does a coming soon for both locations.
Yeah.
On every Wednesday,
Just internal.
like every Wednesday, it's internal and it's all our coming soons. Maybe smart.
I laugh because, I send out that just listed. I've been sending them out every Wednesday, so it goes out.
That's a good one, I see it.
It goes out all over to all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
agents in
we-
the valley. So
Coming soon, we can't do that.
no, but I like to go in and see who opens it up because I'm getting about 50% of the 500
Opens?
people are opening it. And you'll see how many times they open it. So they're going back to it, like Remax. Every one of them opens it and they'll look at it like 3 or 4 times.
They're probably trying to figure out copy.
Right. All right.